Hello, my name's Nina Stibbe and I'm here at Waterstones Piccadilly to introduce my new book, Reasons to be Cheerful. For those of you who haven't read my books before, this isn't a bad place to jump in. And for those of you who have, you could read it as a prequel to Love, Nina. The book is narrated by Lizzie Vogel, who leaves the countryside to move into the city and start a job as a dental nurse. She finds herself quite lonely and homesick, and I guess spurred on by the magazines she finds in the waiting room, she forges forward to find a meaningful independence. She gives her little kitchen a bistro makeover and she falls in love with the boy from the dental lab, and she basically gives up reading novels and only reads magazines. She wants to be a really good dental nurse, but she finds her boss to be a vain social climbing snob, and more likely to be tanning himself under a sun lamp than actually doing his job. And when he turns away a patient in need, Lizzie can't stand by and she takes matters into her own hands. And I won't say much more than that, other than it sets off a dramatic chain of events. So that's Reasons to be Cheerful. I hope you like it. I'm going to share with you some of my favourite books that echo some of the themes in my own new book. First is Edna O'Brien's The Country Girls. This is a trilogy, but I'm really talking about the first in the trilogy. I first read it when I was a teenager, and I was thrilled to find it about a girl, two girls in fact, leaving the safety and security of their community and seeking adventure in the big city. It's a beautiful book. If you haven't read it, do. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's full of exquisite detail. For me, the biggest thing that hit me was that it describes perfectly the idea that you can have a best friend who is both incredibly loyal and indispensable, but a complete bitch as well. I'd never seen it written about before, and it's just brilliant. Okay, here we are in the classic section now, and I'm going to Flanders by Daniel Defoe. I tried to get this out of the library when I was probably about 15, and I was told I couldn't because it's about prostitution, burglary and incest, and of course that made me want to read it more. And yes, Moll is occasionally a prostitute, and yes, she does a bit of thieving, and she does accidentally marry her brother, but it's much more about surviving the sort of economic difficulties of surviving as a single woman in the 18th century. It's bawdy, it's exciting, it's funny, it's one of those fake memoirs that takes you right through the person's life, and essentially it's a novel, well, a memoir of redemption, so it's got everything. It's lovely. Okay, so we're up on the third floor now in biography, and I'm going to talk briefly about this book, Girl with Dove by Sally Bailey. This is quite a new book. I think it came out in 2018, and it's a memoir. It's absolutely beautiful. It's the childhood memoir of Sally Bailey. She grew up in a dilapidated house by the sea, and after an early tragedy, her mum fell into a very complicated depression. And Sally, as a child, used characters in books as a way of escaping this crazy, chaotic life. And if that makes it sound gloomy, it's not. It's beguiling, it's beautiful, and it's very funny. And I highly recommend it. It was my book of the year last year.